Welcome back to part 3 of the day of the accident. In my last video, if you haven't watched that yet, pause this one, go back to the other one. In my last video, I had talked about seeing my husband for the first time in the ICU, as well as seeing blood on his pillow that I wasn't sure that was normal for his head to bleed like that. And in this video, I'll be sharing the night of the accident. So after we get home from the hospital, my phone was on like 15% battery, so I went to charge it. And well, for one, when I first came in to our house, knowing he may or may not be coming back to our house, I remember walking in the door and all of a sudden the house felt way too big and it felt hauntingly empty. And that is the best I can describe how it felt. It was that with a whole weight of grief on top of it, if that makes sense. Like I said, I still struggle to describe that fully, but that's the best I can describe. So I go to charge my phone. And of course, way before this, my husband, making sure everything was in order, would come up and say, okay, these are the papers you need to get if something were to happen to me, and it'll be in this place and all that stuff. And of course I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, nothing's gonna happen to you. And yeah, kind of wish I remembered where those papers were and what I needed to get. So I go to plug in my phone. Our room is downstairs, and I went upstairs to go through all of our papers to see what I needed in this situation. As I'm looking through our papers, I hear a voice saying, "You need to go check your phone." And I'm like, nah, I don't need to check my phone. I've been on my phone all day, responding to people, updating everybody, and all that. I don't need to be on my phone. And again, I hear, "You need to go check your phone." I once again said no. After a few times of hearing that over and over again, I finally broke down and I went downstairs. I found out I had several missed calls from the hospital and from my in-laws because we had it set up where they were on the next people to call if they couldn't get a hold of me as an emergency contact if something were to happen. And my father-in-law was already on his way to come and get me, as well as my sister. And the hospital called again, and I answered, and it was the neurosurgeon. Said, "Your husband has hemorrhaged, and there's nothing we can do." And I had him repeat that again, and he again said, "There's nothing we can do." And I asked, "Is there anything else we can do? Like, I don't get this. Like, is there anything else?" And then he goes, "Well, if you want, we could put him in OR, but just so you know, there's probably not much we can do." And I'm going, well, duh, put him in the OR. Like, what are you talking about? You're saying there's nothing you can do, but yet you're offering to put him in the OR. So without hesitation, I said, well, yeah, put him in the OR. And so they do. And it dawned on me that I had seen a significant amount of blood on his pillow, and that explained it. So then my sister and father-in-law come right as I'm ending the call, and I start bawling. And all I could get out was, "I saw the blood in his pillow. I saw the blood in his pillow." And my father-in-law looked at me. He said, well, did you tell anybody about it? And I said, yes, I told a nurse. I think I even told another nurse. And he said, okay, then stop. You're okay. You let somebody know. There was literally nothing else you could do but to let somebody else know. So then we get in the car. At this point, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. We go back to the hospital. And I remember sitting in my sister's car who was driving. And it was about an hour drive to the hospital from where we lived. And I remember just praying over and over and over and over and over again, like, don't let him die, don't let him die. I don't want to be a young widow at 26. No, I just don't want to, like, please, let him live. And all I heard was, you're holding on too tight. You're holding too tight. I need you to let go so I can do what I need to do. And I kept resisting for a while. And I kept hearing over again, I know. But you're holding too tight. Remember, he's not yours. And that's when it dawned that it is true. He technically is not mine. He belongs to the Lord, first and foremost. And I made the difficult prayer of letting him go if God chose to. And then God went to work. And even though he didn't need my permission, he didn't need my A-okay for him to do stuff, he still, he cares for us like that. He cares for us like that.